welcome back to my channel. So I know I said that I probably wouldn't be coming back until October, but I decided to give you guys some footage today because I have to meal prep anyway. So do you guys care to know what I got this time? Because I wasn't really trying to do a Trader Joe's haul, but I can let you guys know. Sunday fun day, you know, chit chat with peace. So, of course, I need my wine. I'll go through this really quickly. All right, got spinach today. That's what I should have gotten last week that I didn't. Got salmon. Got yogurt again. Mango and strawberry are the flavors of the week. Also got zucchini. I like to slice that up with lemon pepper. Got English cucumbers. I usually just eat those plain. Frozen raspberries, since a lot of the fresh fruit has gone out of season. I've been wanting to try these jackfruit cakes, vegan jackfruit cakes. So basically they're supposed to taste like a crab cake, but with no meat and no crab. Decided to get some frozen mozzarella sticks this week. That's my little snack. Typical grocery item is sweet potatoes. I get those almost every week. Of course, I got my carrot juice again. The best. Got my favorite marinara sauce for the mozzarella sticks, which is tomato and basil. Then I needed some barbecue sauce just because I don't have any condiments in the fridge. So I got Trader Joe's organic Kansas City style barbecue sauce. All right, I got some mushrooms for my spinach, sliced white mushrooms. I usually get the Morning Glory muffins, like I said, but I haven't seen them, and I think they replaced them with the almond meal muffins. So it says a hearty muffin with nuts, veggies, sweetened dry cranberries, rolled oats, maple and agave syrups, and chia seeds. So, sounds pretty healthy, looks pretty delicious. Got my snack of the week, which is butter toffee pretzels, mini salted pretzels tossed in buttery toffee. Got some tomatoes to also put with my spinach and mushrooms. Got some pears as the fruit and bananas. Alright guys, so let me get started on the actual topic of discussion this week. It's going to be on generational curses. So I did make a post, if anyone follows me on Facebook, at Peace Jones, probably like a month and a half ago, and I was speaking on generational curses and how, you know, obviously a lot of people are more proactive about trying to break generational curses and just I guess trying to figure out what exactly their generational curses are, trying to be more aware of what's happened in their family, what has prevented them from, I guess, success or healthy lifestyles or marriage, successful, happy marriages, two-parent households. It's just so much that comes with generational curses, and so I was trying to get people to focus a little bit more on what is what affects their families the most, because I low-key feel like we all have some type of generational curse, even if it's not that severe, and then some of us have just like really severe generational curses. So yeah, I was trying to get people to figure out what theirs were, and I put up this poll, and it basically said, are you aware of your family's generational curses? And I had a lot of people respond yes, but then I had a lot of people respond no. So I do encourage everyone to kind of look into that and figure out some of the things that can be tweaked and made a little bit better so that you can live your happiest, healthiest, most productive lifestyle, right? So, let me just give you guys a rundown of what generational curses can include. Some of the more prominent ones that we hear about on a day-to-day basis. So that would be abuse. That can be physical abuse, that can be mental abuse, emotional abuse, psychological abuse. A lot of people hear about domestic abuse, but emotional and psychological is just as bad. Some people say worse. Okay, also molestation, that goes really untalked about or unnoticed, I guess you can say, because a lot of the victims even choose all the way into adulthood or all the way to death to not even, mention it to people. They don't want to get people in trouble. They don't want to have to face family members and friends who may not believe them. So yes, molestation is very prominent, and it's not just with females. I know it happens a lot with males, and a lot of people tend to think like, oh, don't leave that little girl around her uncle or her grandfather or her brother or father. But it also happens to little boys, unfortunately. So I want everyone to be aware of that as well. Lack of education is also a generational curse. There's a lot of people who weren't taught to pursue education, weren't taught the value of education, weren't taught that you open up many doors and opportunities once you do receive higher levels of education. And just being educated on day-to-day, everyday things, that is, believe it or not, a generational curse, because it's hindering you and preventing you from being the best you, the most productive you, the most intelligent you. And lack of education really does contribute to poverty. And when I say that, a lot of people will try and bite my neck off, saying like, well, we don't have to get a degree. Well, college isn't everything. Well, that's cool. But believe it or not, there's other forms of education, and a lot of people are lacking basic knowledge and basic concepts and basic education. Okay, so that's what I'm referring to. I also believe in higher learning and obtaining degrees, but I'm not pushing for everyone to do that if that's not what you believe in or that's not what you want to do. Also, another generational curse can be just the way that we raise our females and the way that we raise our males. A lot of times I notice in the African American community, our females are raised to be like these strong, dominant, hardworking individuals, but then you flip the script and the male is kind of coddled, babied, tended to, and that is really creating a society today where you have these super affluent women, super hardworking women, super successful women, and then you have these men that in turn want to be the woman. I mean, they want to be pampered, they want to be catered to, they want you to take care of them. And that's a generational curse because it's passed down through generations, and it's now affecting new generations, where I'm also going to do a discussion on this topic on the Dating Chronicles, where now you have these women that have everything going for themselves, and they're subjected to dating these men that just aren't, like, they're subpar basically, and it's just not working out. You know what I mean? You have women really lowering their standards and dealing with guys that just don't respect them, don't respect themselves, don't have ambition, don't have goals. And before you say it, this is not a male bashing channel. This is not a male bashing segment, because trust and believe, I know a lot of males, black males, who are doing very well for themselves, who have goals, have dreams, and they're chasing them. So I'm not speaking to you guys. When I say generational curses, I don't mean this happens in every household. That's why I said kind of pinpoint what's going on in your family. But I will say, I'm not going to sit here and not address these issues that I see on a day-to-day basis, and that's definitely one of them. The female in a lot of African American households is taught to grind and go get it, while the male is kind of left to do whatever he wants to. And that typically comes from the lack of a father or male figure in the household. So that's a whole nother topic where basically studies have shown, and I've done a lot of research on this and looked up a lot of stuff pertaining to it, but basically the theory behind it is when African American males or fathers, stepfathers, the male figure in the household is void, a lot of times the son or the sons end up taking on the role of either A, the mother's companion. So at that point, you're basically raising a little boy to fill the void and the lack of you having this man to date, right? So now you almost force him to be that lover or to be that man for you, right? And so now you overcompensate. Now you do all these things. You don't let this young boy grow up on his own and develop valuable skills and, just become a productive person in society because you, in your mind somewhere, mixed up the two roles. You don't have a man, you don't have a husband, you think all men are terrible, but now you wanted to fill that void and you made your son do that for you. So now he's all messed up. And then that ties into dating because I was watching something one time where it was saying like this guy, he experienced that, father wasn't in the household, mother basically made him, do this, do that, da 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 da. And when it came down to him being of age to date, he ran. He did not want to commit. He didn't want to commit because he felt that his whole life, his mother had forced him to be her boyfriend. So when he finally got that freedom and another woman who should have been a woman he would want to date, someone he got to know, his age group, age range, whatever, he's like, no, I don't want to because I've had to be a boyfriend my whole life. So that really messes people up too into adulthood, right? All right, so yeah, that's just a few generational curses. You guys can pinpoint and figure out exactly what's going on with you, exactly what's going on in your family, but I was just giving you guys an idea. So I did actually write some things down because this topic I'm so passionate about and I wanted to make sure I hit all the points. So number one, I'm going to start with a quote that I read. It says, if you don't heal from what broke you, you'll bleed on people who didn't cut you. That is a fact. There are so many people suffering from trauma and they're adults, and they never worked on it. They never healed from it. They never even scratched the surface. Some of them don't even know what to heal from. That's why I'm so big on, pinpointing exactly what you're suffering from. And they're bleeding on other people. You're bleeding on your friends. You're bleeding on your partners. You're bleeding on your children. You're bleeding on random people that you come in contact with every day. It's not their fault. And you're damaging other people because you haven't healed. So think about that quote. Number one in the steps to, I guess you could say, finding your generational curses and working on healing them, right? So number one is to admit. I have dealt with a lot of people who they cannot admit they have these issues. They'll, kind of admit they're crazy, or they'll admit that they're impulsive, or they'll admit that they get angry easily. But they'll never admit that they have traumas and that there's generational curses that need to be addressed. It's like they don't want to pinpoint the issue and really say this is what it is. They just want to kind of dance around it. So you really can't start healing from your traumas until you admit that you do have these traumas. I am one who can definitely admit that. I've been through a lot in life, and I know I'm not 100% the person that I want to be yet, right? And I know I've suffered a lot of trauma. I know my family is very dysfunctional. And so I realized that did, take a toll on me, but I have admitted that, and I have worked aggressively to try and work on myself, okay? So number 2, pinpointing your trauma, which I talked about earlier. Kind of figure out, now we're adults, or I figure most people watching my channel, we're adults, and we can kind of, sit back and look at our behaviors. Hopefully most of us can, and be able to tell, oh, that's a bit off. That doesn't seem right, or why can't I do this? Why do I always do that? That is pinpointing your behaviors and your triggers, and basically from there you can kind of figure out, okay, why do I lash out on people all the time? Why am I afraid to be around men alone? How come I have real issues making female friends? Then you tie that back into your childhood or your adulthood, whenever these traumas may have occurred, and that will help you to pinpoint those areas, so then you can address those areas either on your own with the help of books, research, and like a lot of videos and vlogs, or therapy. Okay, so number 3 would be possibly separate yourself, right? I know a lot of people, when going through a healing process, tend to either try and pull others down or break others down, or they're still, all that anger comes to the surface, so now they're extra angry, and they hurt other people. Maybe they're dating or they're in a relationship, and now that person has to suffer because you're going through this. So I say separate yourself if you feel that you can't be level-headed enough to still thrive in society, thrive in your friendship, thrive in your relationship without pouring this trauma that you've now brought to the surface on other people. And also realize it's not cute to be hurt, right? I know a lot of people literally say, like, you'll even see it in like song lyrics or like memes, where people will be like, it was one of them that said, I don't even chase my liquor. What do I look like chasing you? Or like, I'm crazy, baby. If you ain't a little bit crazy, we can't be together. Or like, a lot of people like to call themselves bipolar. Like, just a lot of crazy things that people shouldn't be so enthusiastic or proud about saying. If you can admit and you're posting and saying that you're crazy, or you're angry, or you're bitter, or F this and all this craziness, you're showing that you're hurt. Actually, you're not showing that you're hardcore. You're not showing that you're tough. You're not showing that you have it all together. You're showing that you're hurt, and you need to address that. So stop walking around thinking that it's cute to say or to think that being crazy or whatever is okay. Number 4, don't blame others. Learn to take accountability. That is so huge, especially in the African American community. Sorry, wine break. So, that's a whole nother topic too. I know I'm gonna get my head chewed off and spit up, because I've already made posts on social media that, of course people didn't agree with, but I'm very blunt, in case you haven't noticed, and I really speak my mind, and I like to think I have a very realistic mindset, not pessimistic, but a lot of people can't take reality. I mean, but hey, that's not my problem. I'm here to give you guys the real, okay? So, yes, taking accountability. Now, when I say take accountability, I don't mean, okay, your dad used to beat the brakes off of you. Now take accountability and say it was your fault. Or, okay, you got molested by your uncle. Now take accountability and say it was your fault. No, that's not what I mean. What I mean is, and this might sound harsh, and I don't want it to, but when things happen to us in life, as unfortunate as it may be, right? We are accountable for ourselves, for our future, for our happiness. I know that sounds bad because so many terrible things can happen to people in life, and so many terrible things do happen to people in life. However, unfortunately, you are accountable for creating the life that you want, creating the mindset that you want, creating the mental health and sustainability that you want. And even if these things have occurred in your life, you're still responsible for somehow fixing them, unraveling them, working on them, so that you can be a positive, healthy person in all aspects of life. And a lot of people think, well, I'm from the hood and da-da-da-da-da, so I can shoot people because that's what I was raised on and that's what I saw. Or my father used to beat me with electrical cords and he was a drunk, so I can beat people up now and take out my rage because that's what I suffered when I was a kid. Or I went to foster care for 7 years of my life and I bounced from home to home and no one loved me and da-da-da-da. So I'm allowed to act like this. The crazy thing is, you're now an adult. You're in the world with other messed up people, healthy people, people from the suburbs, people from the hood, Hispanic people, white people, black people, Asian people. The list goes on. No one really cares what happened to you that made you this way, but people do see that you're this way, right? So you can't just act out and do whatever you want expecting people to say in adulthood, oh, it's because when they were 7, this and that. It's because when they were a teen, this and that. It's because when they were 2, this and that. As unfortunate as these circumstances are, and trust me, I know, you still have to heal from them. You still have to take accountability for your actions. And the crazy thing is, if you do heal from these things and you do work on yourself, you can be such a better person, healthier person, more productive person, and you don't have to live in your trauma. A lot of people want to live in their trauma. They want to live in their hurt. They want to live in their pain. And then they want to snatch everyone else up to come join them. No. If you want to live in your pain, unfortunately, you have to do it alone. Don't keep inviting people to your trauma party because that's not fair to them. You don't want to damage other people because you want to live in your trauma. But you're always invited to come out, heal yourself, work on yourself, and live a much better lifestyle, right? We don't have to stay where we were brought up, where we began, where our father put us, where our mother put us. And believe me, there's plenty of stories of people who came from crazy backgrounds that have made it out, that are positive, that are healthy because they took the initiative to turn their lives around for the better, right? Despite how their life began. Okay, so number 5, figure out your healing journey. So some people need that space. Cut me off the map, take down my social media. I won't be out for the next 3 months. I am working on myself. That's cool. Then you have the individual that can still be social, still be interacting with their friends and their co-workers, and life goes on, but behind closed doors, they are actively working on themselves. It really depends on you, right? But you do need to figure out a plan for your journey, because if you don't have a plan, trust me, you'll never do it. There's a lot of people that never choose to work on themselves because they're just like, oh, I'll just be like this, I'll just be me. No, it's easy to say that, so you have to make a plan so that you actually start taking steps towards it. Your healing journey can include writing letters to the people that hurt you, writing letters to yourself. Like I said, there's a ton of YouTube channels that focus on just anxiety, just depression, just abusive parents, just narcissistic parents, just being in foster care. There's so many resources. There's books, there's things online that you can research, there's therapy. You can always go to counseling, you know what I mean? So yeah, you can go about it any way that you feel works best for you. Try a few different things, but you do need to make a plan for what is going to work best for you and be most productive for you, and then give you the best results for your healing journey and the outcome of it. Number 6 is actively work on yourself. Once you make this plan and you decide how you're gonna go about healing, then you need to be active about it, right? So are you going to give yourself 3 hours every night towards it? Do you have a little bit more busy schedule and you say, hey, I can give myself an hour every weekend towards it? Maybe you're going to therapy. Let's say your session is 2 hours a week or a month. Are you going to put that amount of time towards it? Come up with a plan and a schedule, but be active and aggressive, because the more aggressive you are and the more active you are and the more time you put into it, I feel that you find that you get better results. Because I'm not going to say you heal quicker, because that is that depends on the person, and that depends on the level of trauma and all that you have to unravel. But and then sometimes in the midst of healing from one thing you thought was wrong, you realize this was wrong as well. So it can take years and years, and it's no rush on it, but just be active about it so that you are, like I said, getting the best results. So yeah, I will go deeper into this. I did ask for suggestions if there's anything in particular that you guys want me to talk about or give advice on or whatever. Because like I said, I do a lot of research on this stuff. Like, it's crazy. But yeah, so that's it for now. And yeah, have a productive, great week, guys. See ya!